what was good and what we're going to talk about in a fun sense, because it was a fun day, including that last game that wrapped up, last two games that wrapped up, one a little sloppy, one a lot of fun. And we're going to start off with that as we go through the ups and downs of week 9 with 3 high, 3 low. High number 1, this is the Bills pulling it off against the Chiefs, and I don't think the ball touched the ground for Josh Allen today, finishing 23-26, and one of those was a throwaway, over 10.5 yards per attempt, 3 touchdowns, some rushing yards. We got some run game going on, a lot of tight end action from the Bills today. Chiefs, a little scattershot day on offense, which we will probably talk about, but the Bills pulling this off with all those injuries on defense. And I thought they were really in this game, controlling this game. This was not like a pure luck-based win. This was just a good team winning against another good team. These are 2 of the top teams in the AFC. But what'd you think about this game and the Bills' victory, Charles McDonald?
Man, just another game where the Bills' offense is just kind of machine
mode. True.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite as easy as last week, where they had 49 against Carolina and they were ripping off all these big runs, but still kind of a similar level of efficiency. I think 2 stats that kind of stand out to me that kind of help display how good they were and putting themselves in the good spots. Only 16% or 15.6% of their plays went for 0 or fewer yards tonight, compared to 47% for the Chiefs, and their average distance on third down was 5.1 yards. So you get Josh Allen to a bunch of 3rd and 5s and shorter, or around that range, you're gonna win a lot of football games. And they had 50% success rate in both drop back and rushing, 100% success rate in the red zone. I mean, that was to me one of the coolest games that I think this iteration of the Bills' offense has played so far.
Yeah, because we saw a little bit of it was their version of the greatest hits. It was like, all right, here's these under center stuff. We got fullbacks and tight ends out here. And then here's the spread stuff. And here's wheel routes to Dalton Kincaid and corner routes to Dalton Kincaid. And I like how you put that, this iteration of the Bills, because I think they've kind of reached this point. Every year they've kind of added a little something and now have reached this version of their offense. And I kind of laid into Joe Brady a few weeks ago after the game against the Falcons. I think I did with Matt, though, and I was just kind of like, what was that game plan? That was just an egg. And I think obviously last week, but then this week too, I thought there were just so much good stuff that they did. Obviously the stats show that, but Allen was a machine. He was hitting it. It was like hitting tight ends, hitting the slot guys, hitting guys to the outside. I was looking on next gen stats and receiver alignment. Yeah, it was 27% of the passes were out wide, 23% were to tight end or tight, 38% were to the slots, 8% to the backfield. So it was just a little bit of everything. And then just looking, there's a chunk of the passes behind the line of scrimmage. Chunk were short. A chunk were intermediate. He went 3 for 3 on deep passes, 3 for 3 for 81 yards, 1 touchdown. That when he's rolling and this offense is rolling, because the run game's so good. I mean, Allen kind of rolls every game, but when he looks like this, it's who? Right. This is why it's the best offense or second best offense or third best offense any given week, because they just look like this. It's just so dangerous, and they can do it's not finessey. They can do the bully things, and then they have speed with Allen. And even if it's just Allen's arm adding the speed, it's just a lot of speed out there too.
I think it's kind of fun to think about what this team has become since Joe Brady was hired as the OC. Because I remember when Ken Dorsey got fired, we were like, man, what? That's kind of weird. Their offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, because if I remember correctly, the game that they lost where he got fired was on a missed field goal where they drove down at the end. I was like, that feels like Bengals, a little.
I think. Yeah.
So yeah. I was like, it feels like you're hating there a little bit, Sean. But the offensive production, it never quite changed, but how they get it done flipped. They run the ball a lot better now, which is probably not what you think when you think of Joe Brady, because you probably think of those high flying LSU offenses and all the points that they scored. But their ability to just kind of get into these kind of grooves where they can just pound it over and over and over again. I think that's been one of the highlights of Joe Brady's reign as the play caller. Because even going back to that playoff game against Baltimore, when they needed to kind of just shut that game down, just get under center or find your runs behind your big-ass offensive line and churn it out. So that was cool. That was really cool to see, and I just love watching this run game when they're going, because the offensive line's big as hell, quarterback's nasty, and James Cook is developed too.
It's so cool. It's such cool offense just because it's nothing like crazy. Like the touchdown of Dalton
Yeah.
Kincaid is just a red zone staple. Like the run game or there's zone and duo. It's nothing like crazy. They just have they have good players and everyone's just on the same page. Um, you're mentioning kind of the transformation of this offense. You mentioned Dorsey, and I would even go back to Dable, his last year. And that was a frustration I had with the Bills in 2021. Was that they just got so spread heavy and so RPO heavy. And I can vividly remember this game, and I looked it up, and I was right. It was 2021 against the Bucks. So this would have been when Brady was there still with the Bucks. And in that game, Josh Allen went 36 of 54 for 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, but he also ran it 12 times. The Bills running backs only ran the ball 7 times that game. That was Devin Singletary when he was the back there. And that was the game because they lost that game. I remember being like, something's got to change. You can't live this way. You can't just go RPO, Cole Beasley, Stephon Diggs, just over and over. Emmanuel Sanders was still on this team. And then now you look at it and it's Jackson Hawes and Reggie Gilliam and, was jumbo tight ends and just these big boy looks. And that's what we thought could get after this Bills team or this Chiefs defense. And 18 times the Bills got the Chiefs into base defense. I looked at some next gen stats. 121 yards, 6.7 yards per play, 45% success rate, 22 personnel, which is 2 tight ends, 2 backs, 6.5 yards of play, 55% success rate on 11 snaps. So just, again, it's just this transformation into bulliness with always having to be scared of Josh Allen and what he can do and where he can launch it and do all that. What do you think about the Bills defense tonight going against this Chiefs team, or I should say afternoon? It just got so dark. Oh my God. So dark, so quick.
Dude, I'm
even right now, as we're doing this is 4:43 my time. It's pitch black in my office right now. I'm just like, I got 2 suns in here, beaming into my face.
It's so tough. It's so tough once you get to this point in the year. And it's like, man, it's first quarter. Why is it dark outside though? It's like,
right.
But I think the Bills defense today, like, you got to be pretty encouraged, especially with the performance that you got from those guys that just got off suspension. Hoke and Ogunjobi, like Hoke had a big sack today. I thought that they, like, if you're going to be a team that has like a shaky defense, like the least you can do is kind of get some of these big splash plays in high leverage situations, and at least they were able to cause like some ruckus there. And I think that's. I mean, until you can get to the offseason and just really start to improve, that's probably what this defense is going to be, which might be good enough to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean, I'm still concerned because I don't think this defense is good, but I also think they probably played today about as well as they could, given where their personnel is against an offense like this that's been shredding the past few weeks. So, like, you feel good in that sense. But I still, look at it like, in the playoffs, this could still be a little bit scary, but just for the first kind of run where you get your defensive lineman back off of suspension, I think that was pretty encouraging.
It's just, again, it's especially the playoffs, it's just all matchup based, and we're going to talk about a billion times over the next few weeks as the playoffs get closer. So it's like, all right, but which offenses truly scare that Bills defense? They're not going to play some of the NFC juggernauts. So it's like Broncos offense isn't scaring me. Okay, you might have to play the Chiefs again, of course. Chargers with that O-line, it's just there's a limit to it. Colts show they're a little mortal today, which we'll talk about. Jags as well. Steelers, not going to scare me too much. And then Patriots, which, the run game's a little weak, even though they got after them. So it's like, again, the AFC is so wide open, even if there are some good teams. It's just because there's no kind of perfect team. I was feeling good about the Chiefs, and then this happened tonight. And I just think it was so cool, again, that the Bills were able to get to some of these kind of new version of their stuff. Also, a couple other little notes for the Bills offense. A lot of trips, a lot of 3x1 stuff. I noticed there's like a bunch route to Elijah Moore that was really cool, corner route. Great throw on Josh Allen on that one. But the Kincaid touchdown was a 3x1. It's called a fin concept. I knew it was something else, but that's what's sometimes called. But
Twitter's called it that.
Fin. Okay.
As far as,
5 yards and in. If anyone wants to know why it's called fin, 5 and in. But they had 26 plays. Thank you, Next Gen Stats. I can look this up. 26 plays out of trips, 3x1, 228 yards 8.8 yards per play, 2 touchdowns, 65% success rate. You think they had something against this Chiefs defense? You think they were like, yeah, we're getting you in the trips. We're making you do this, because they shredded them out of that. So I wanted to mention that. It's kind of just a little observation on that. And then, I think Chiefs-wise, Brashard Smith is so much faster than Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. And statistically, you see it. His average speed's over 13 miles an hour, 13.08. Pacheco's is under 12, 11.9. Kareem Hunt's is 10.8. So on average,
that high, huh?
When they have the ball, yeah, I know, 10.8. So how about this? So when they have the ball on offense, Kareem Hunt, how many times when he's touched the ball, he's reached 50 miles an hour or more, which is like a good running speed, 2.7%. Brashard Smith, 30%. So there's a little speed difference there, but Kareem Hunt can still bully ball and get it done.
Yeah, when it's 4th and 1, though, I know who I want touching that rock.
Leroy Horde, get it, Kareem Hunt. That's what he is now. Feeling good about the Bills. I think this is wide open, I still feel good about both these teams. That was 2 juggernauts. There's some other games we're going to talk about where you can see so much more flaws, and it's so cool to see these two. And we're going like, oh yeah, you're the elite teams. Oh, cool, fun to watch. High number 2 other teams in the AFC. Kind of one team was trying to enter the elite tier, and the other one just keeps mucking it up, and that's the Steelers and their defense shutting down the Colts. And I kind of figured Daniel Jones would maybe have a crap out game where he gets some turnovers, because they barely have turned the ball over this year. Barely. I mean, just one of the most efficient offenses you'll ever see, literally and figuratively. And today the dam broke, and it felt uglier than actually what the final score ended up. But the Steelers win 27-20. The Steelers forced 5 turnovers in this game, including a botched punt, and then some other picks I'll talk about as well. But what'd you think about this game? Steelers win. A little Tomlin magic, a little punt shenanigans that the Steelers like to do as well. Like, that's like their favorite thing. But what'd you think about this game, Chuck?
Oh man, Steelers defense came to save the day today, because
they heard you.
Yeah, they heard all of us. I mean, I thought they were going to get stampede today. And I feel like I would make that prediction again based on everything that we had known about these teams going into that game. But today, the Pittsburgh's offense, their average starting field position was their own 47-yard line. That's insane. Like you're at midfield.
That's
almost every drive. And guess what? They still didn't get a first down on 54% of their drives. Like, what's going on here?
Wow.
So it still wasn't. They averaged 17 yards per drive. Like I said, 54% of their drives didn't get a first down. The Colts actually had a much higher success rate in both just overall drop back, rushing, higher explosive play rate, fewer plays that more plays that went for a first down or a touchdown. I mean, a higher 3rd down conversion rate. So like the Colts offense, it's weird. Like they still had moments where it looked okay today, but overall, like you said, 5 turnovers. There's 5 turnovers. Like you're going to get you're just not going to win very many games like that. I think that didn't they actually have 6 turnovers, or was it 5?
It might have been more. When I wrote the note, it was 5. I wrote 5 giveaways. It might have been 6, because he had the one at the end too, right?
One on special teams, and then
yes,
5
on offense.
Yes.
Yeah, that was so bad. My thank you for the correction. 6 after they entered today, with only 4 going into the season, into this game, and it was just right away. The Peyton Wilson interception, of course, after I call him out, it's like, of course, this is how it works. He gets an interception, then another tip ball interception. That was one where it's the danger of chip help. Jonathan Taylor was chip helping TJ Watt on the right side, as always, and he's a little slow to get out. And the Colts run like you can call it a whip route or a crosser return to downs. And because the chip help doesn't get out, Taylor doesn't get out on his route quick enough. Wilson's just standing there. So Jones is expecting that space to just be voided. So he's just like, yeah, there it is. Like, and shows like the faith that he has in the design, and then just goes right to Peyton Wilson. But it's just the danger of chip help. And you could say it's the gravity of TJ Watt, but also the other side, Raymond, the left tackle for the Colts, had a rough day. He ended up he had allowed 8 pressures. Alex Highsmith got after him a bunch. 5 quick pressures, 2 sacks allowed. Just had a rough one. Also, you mentioned the Steelers barely moving the ball. Can I throw some Aaron Rodgers stats at you? I got some historical Aaron Rodgers stats.
It
Historical.
felt like
here.
he was Charlie Checkdown today to the max.
Oh, was he? 2.9 air yards per attempt. 2.9 air yards per attempt. Lowest of the season. Okay. Tied for third lowest by a quarterback since 2013 in a game with 30 or more pass attempts. There's a Trevor Siemian game, a Justin Fields game, and then Rodgers is tied with a Bo Nix game last year against the Chargers and a Derek Carr game. Obviously lowest of his career. 11.4% of his passes went 10 or more air yards. He only had 3. He went three passes went 10 or more air yards. He got 12 yards. 1 for 3. He got 12 yards on that. Yeah. What is that? Commander check down. That's how that felt today. A lot of tight end targets. A lot. Darnell Washington. He's trying to get Darnell Washington going. I do see that, but yeah. Steelers offense was methodical. Might be the nice way to put it, but it was a lot of underneath attacking from Aaron Rodgers today.
Yeah, it was a little fart fest a little bit on offense, but hey, I feel like it's hard to
some poofs left and right.
Some poofs left and right. It's just, hey, when you're starting at midfield on an average, you're starting at midfield. Hey, it's tough to lose, even when you do average 17 yards per drive, 3.7 yards per play. And the Colts, when you just look at percentages, kind of blew them out the water in terms of what they did on a play-per-play basis, even though they did hold them to only 20 points today. I mean, this is like one of the rare games where the Colts, they kind of got off to a slow start. Like Daniel Jones in the first half, he was, I think his EPA per dropback was up negative 0.6 per dropback. So you're kind of shaving points there. Not literally shaving points. I mean, just when you think about how EPA works, every 2 dropbacks, you're losing 1.2 points of value. That kind of shaving points. So just a kind of a sloppy game from them, but also I wouldn't really be that concerned if I was a fan. Like, you did get punked by a bad defense, but it's just kind of one of those games where the Steelers magic happened, and they got some crazy outlier performances on special teams and defense to help them kind of pull this across.
Yeah, no, I great way to put it. Like, I'm not like, oh, see, Colts are frauds or anything like that. This was just one of those games. Like, I would say burn the tape completely. There was some good stuff. Like, there really was, like you're saying, especially Alec Pierce had some good moments. Pittman had some good moments. Like, they still had some good stuff. It was just one of those games where you have a bunch of turnovers. The Steelers won another game earlier this year against the Patriots where they forced another bunch of turnovers. And that's why you look at success rate in some ways, and turnovers. You could say there's turnover luck. Some play styles and some running backs and ball carriers are going to be more going to lead to more turnovers and everything. But it's just also so hard to predict. And we even said on the preview show, it's like, I don't know, this Steelers defense, unless they get some turnovers, and it's like, well, okay, all right. I didn't know I'm going to get half a dozen.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go in a single game. Yeah, exactly. It all comes in bunches. It rains, it pours. The Colts and Falcons play next week. They play they play in Germany. Yeah, in Berlin.
Berlin.
Never to Berlin. You ever seen Euro Trip?
No, but maybe I'll watch that instead of the Falcons game next week.
6:30 a.m. my time, so I'll be up with my son.
I don't think I need to watch that game.
Daylight savings. Oh, we got the kind of the opposites, and then the night game is Steelers Chargers, so that'll be a fun game next week at least. That's kind of like a contender matchup. Like, all right, what are you guys? What tier are you guys? Both of those teams, but Steelers put together complimentary performance, I'll call it, and the Colts had one of those games. I'll put it. Hopefully it's just like, get them all out right now, Daniel Jones, and then you guys can go on another run because the AFC is getting competitive again, but it's still a good team. I have a couple question marks with the corners and stuff, but pretty good team. Yeah. All right. High number 3, the Vikings beat the Lions in JJ McCarthy's return. The Vikings win 27-24. Where do you want to start with this game? I thought the Vikings had a really good game plan on defense. Brian Flores, which I definitely will get into. McCarthy had a couple moments in between some rough stretches, I thought. And I thought that the Lions just couldn't get out of their own way. I mean, when you have David Montgomery fumbling the ball, like, that's when you know it's not your day. But what did you think about this Vikings win? I thought their defense, special teams all had some nice plays. Yeah,
I thought Brian Flores had a great moments today, especially excuse me, like kind of in like high leverage moments. Like, it felt like when they really need to make a play, they were kind of always knocking Jared Goff off his spot. And I
Yeah.
was laughing today watching this game because we've watched Jared Goff play in the NFL for basically a decade now, and all of his bad games they kind of go the exact same way, right? Like where you're looking at
Right? They all feel the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
since he was a rookie to now, they all go the exact same way. Oh, he's getting hit, he's getting under pressure, he's straddled. It doesn't happen. It's not going to happen today. And I thought that the Vikings defense, they did a good job. Just kind of keeping him. Just all unsettled in the pocket and doing a good job trying to make some of these tackles in the open field, because we've seen games, it feels like almost every week, where these skill players for Detroit, they just get loose in the open field, and next thing you know, the game's kind of getting away from you. But they did a good job of keeping things in front of them, and you even had another big Isaiah Rodgers play on special teams, which I think all of that was kind of needed to kind of overcome what the offense was doing. It's like when you look at the offense, their production in the second half, and we just talked about the Steelers and their what they did today. In the second half, the Vikings offense, their average starting field position was a 41-yard line. They're on 41-yard line. So, when you're starting with only 60 yards to go, that's a big advantage over if you're starting at the 25 or the 30, where you're shaving yards off. So, good team win by the Vikings. I thought their defense really showed out today, and I thought their run game had some nice moments too.
To overcome.
Let's say.
You keep saying you want to say overcome.
I want to say he was bad today. He was really, really bad today, and I feel like I'm having like an issue where I don't understand where the disconnect is on what I'm watching and what's actually happening out there. Like, I feel like people don't understand how low they've lowered the bar for a guy that was traded up for in the first round last year, and people are like, oh, what, you're done with JJ McCarthy already? I'm like, he'd have to start for me to be done with him. Like, we haven't even gotten anywhere yet. Like, this is functionally been zero production for the first 3 games of his career. And I mean, in the second half alone, or even if you just want to look at past basically the first quarter, when they had some success in offense in the first drive, they had a good script going. Over the 3 final quarters of the game, second, third, fourth quarter, 24 dropbacks, 48 yards, and an interception. What are we doing? We're having up 2 yards per dropback and a lot of penalties. I mean, and is this discombobulated? People are saying, they're going the wrong way on plays. People are blaming the running back. People are blaming JJ McCarthy. All I know is it didn't look all like this before, and that's when Carson Wentz was still not playing good football. So I don't really understand why we have to sit here and say he's playing well or it looks promising, because it doesn't right now at all. And I think that you should just kind of be able to call a spade. 48 passing yards over 3 quarters. I mean, that's nothing. Like, if that was any other quarterback, we'd be kind of laughing about how bad that was. But here, for some reason, we got to treat it with kid gloves, and I don't quite understand why. Viking fans should be wanting better quarterback play than this, but you got to pretend that this little production over this many games at this point is workable. No, not yet. He's got a lot to show before even functional, man.
Right. That's my glass half full of this. This was my theory. I had the Vikings as a wild card team going into this year, and my theory was, well, I know they're going to have a drop off after last year, but I think they improved the O-line, they improved the D-line, just get a few more players, and that they can have a good run game, keep it kind of safe for McCarthy, and that the defense can do this, have a lot of turnovers, create chaos, and just hold on there, win 9-10 games, get into the wild card game. And my theory was, God, I'm repeating the same kind of thing I said about, I think, Ritter when he was with the Falcons. He just has to be the 22nd best quarterback. He doesn't have to be top 10, top 15, top 18, just functional. And right now, outside, he hits a couple plays, and it's just not really that functional right now. I just think he looks overwhelmed. And again, and this is what's really hard discussing this, because everyone wants to jump down your throat. I mean, I got Vikings fans coming after me left and right. And I'm just man, I said I'm indifferent on him. Is that I have no sample. He was already a project coming into the league, didn't have a lot of reps, and he still hasn't had a lot of reps. And the reps I see, he looks slow with things to process. Everything happens a half second late. That's why there's a lot of throws where he's just kind of misses because he's trying to gun it in there because his feet are like, oh, I'm late. Oh, all right, throw. It's just a classic thing quarterbacks do. And I just kind of see that a lot. I see, like you said, some guys going the wrong way. Even at the end of the game, and again, I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but even at the end of the game, KOC is yelling at him to take a knee because it's under 40 seconds. And he's like, hey, hurry, what are you doing huddling? Like, just knee it. Like, just there's like a kind of a lack. Everything just looks like he looks young. Like, and that's the thing is, I think when quarterbacks get drafted high, even for guys that don't have a lot of experience, I'm kind of like, well, the quarterback bar is so much higher now for these young guys. And right now it's like, oh, you look like a quarterback that came into the league 25 years ago, in the sense that it's like, wow, you have a long ways to go just to understand the game. You can see the nice throws. Like he had one to Jefferson. Everything, his best throws are to the outside right now. And that makes a lot of sense.
The one to ice it
young
today.
And that, pardon? Yeah, the one to ice it. The wheel route to ice it. Yep. He had a comeback to Jefferson. He had a couple throws to Jefferson. Those are all good to the outside. And this is a classic young quarterback thing, is because that's the cleanest. That's the easiest to see for the quarterback. And he's better throwing right to the right now than to the left, which is also a mechanical thing for young quarterbacks, because throwing left, you're always going to be a little bit slower, and you have to kind of like adapt. Everybody has a different way of adapting, whether you bounce, whether you open up your hips, yada, yada, yada. He had that at Michigan where he throwing to his left, he had drop-offs as far as completion percentage, success rate, yardage, everything. His accuracy. And you see all of his best throws are to the right now. And that makes, again, it's sense because that's the ones he's just most comfortable with. It's open. You can see it. There's not a bunch of bodies out there. And I could just throw it towards the sideline to a spot. And it makes sense to me that those are his best throws. But pressure just seems to unravel him right now. And yeah, he needs reps. This is just the catch-22 we talked about on Thursday. It's like he's well behind, I think, of where I thought he would be maybe in his second year. But he needs reps, so you got to ride it out because you can see the good arm and you can see the run touchdown, but it's like it's not great right now, and that's why I'm trying to explain to Vikings fans I'm indifferent right now because NMI need more information. But glass half full, this was my take. Like he just has to be okay, not even okay, just not functioning for this team to win, and this was kind of the upside of that. I mean that's just how I kind of feel about it.
Yeah, I'm just in the standpoint. I'm not going to sit here and pretend he's playing well. I don't get it.
Right.
Look, my favorite team is starting a young quarterback too, Mike Penix. He's not playing well, and it's fine. Like it's just the truth of it. It's the truth of it. I don't know. You say it, you move on. You hope he plays better next week, but until he does, you kind of got to deal with what it is. And I'm just surprised how many people are willing to kind of lower their standards and accept stuff like this as promising. But when it comes to, other quarterbacks, they're trying to bury them.
Be perfect
every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at you look at like what Caleb Williams and some of these other guys have accomplished, and you look at how the discourse differs between them. I'm like, dude, why are you handling this guy with kid gloves? He's the NFL quarterback. He's a professional quarterback that was traded up for in the first round, top 10 pick, treated as such. And it's not good enough. It's obviously not good enough at this rate. And the thing is, we do this thing with young quarterbacks where they have these games at the start, and you're squinting to try and find things that make you feel good. And then this game happens. Yeah. Right. And then this game happens for the 30th time. And you're like, oh, wait, no, this actually isn't all that good. And I just think we, as fans of teams with struggling quarterbacks, should get to a point where we yell at our franchise and say, no, we will not get to that 30th game. We're going to cut this off at 10, and you're going to go get a real quarterback. That one has won the wage war. What are we doing here? It's not 2010 anymore. You're not paying these guys $100 million.
It's not giving Sam Bradford the biggest contract in history. Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, I do say I think there's some inconsistencies who gets criticized and stuff too. And just also what's labeled a project, who gets time, what are we expectations? And I'm with you right now. It's not good enough. I do want to talk about Flores though, real quick before we move on to the actual lows. We're still in the highs right here. I thought the Vikings overwhelmed Jahmyr Gibbs in the interior of the Lions offensive line. Jahmyr Gibbs allowed 7 pressures today. The running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, allowed 7 pressures on 16 pass protection snaps. 6 of those were quick pressures, 1 sack. His average time to pressure was 2.1 seconds. You know how every bad golf game feels the same, or every average one? it's usually interior pressure that discombobulates him. And that's what it was. Even David Montgomery, a lot of pressure. He only had one pass protection step. I got to look at what the flow of all this was. Graham Glasgow, the center, allowed 6 pressures, 3 quick pressures, and 3 sacks. Mahogany, before he got hurt, allowed 2 quick pressures. They had some injuries, but what the Vikings did, I noticed it was not every time, but a few of these was they would bring 2 guys down the middle, 2 linebackers down the pipe, A-gaps, double A-gap pressures, double mug, whatever you want. It wasn't double mug because that's semantics. But then they would drop both edge rushers, both outside linebackers, both DNs, whatever you want to call them, drop them, and then rather than dropping out to the flat, they had them running over the middle of the field, like where all the crossers and hot routes were. How many times have you seen Jared Goff on third down hit Amon-Ra St. Brown on a crossing route? And they just dropped into it. Yeah, and so it was, the hot's not there. Oh my God, Jahmyr Gibbs is in my lap. Boom, dead. And I mean, the Lions had 17 third downs today. 27.4% of their plays today were third downs. Highest rate the Lions have had since Dan Campbell got there. 45.5% of their drives were 3 and outs. Tied for the highest rate in the game they've had under Campbell. Goff against the blitz was 8 of 14, 74 yards, 3 sacks on 9 pressures. So really, this whole section, I know we got into McCarthy and all that. Tip of the cap to Brian Flores. Great game plan, great execution by the Vikings defense, and plus the block field goal. So, like you said at the beginning, great team win from the Minnesota Vikings.
Aaron Jones had
that's a good one.
Aaron Jones had a really strong game today too. I thought Aaron Jones played pretty well. I thought they had
and on the outside, the little swing route was nice. I will say that was a good McCarthy throw. I'll give him that one too.
It was.
All right, we'll go into the low section. It was. We'll go into the low section now. Place. God, what is the NFC standings right now? Sorry, before we even get to the low section. NFC North, we got 5-2-1 Packers, 5-3 Lions, 5-3 Bears, 4-4 Vikings. Wow, that is quite the division there. The NFC is a mess, man. This is going to be like Fury Road. All right, low number 1 is lovers of tackling and smart football. The Bengals implode after the Bears implode after the Bengals implode. The Bears win 47-42. A double 40 burger that just had some, it wasn't well made. It was very well done. Just had no sauce on it. Just very dry. That's how this game felt. But I mean, I actually was reverse engineer. Colson Loveland scores the game winner after bouncing off a couple tackles. Great throw from Caleb Williams. But before that, Joe Flacco, or I should say the Bengals recovered an onside kick. Joe Flacco marches down the field, scores a touchdown. Kyle Monangai finishes with 176 rushing yards and 22 receiving yards as the Bears run game rolled again against this weak Bengals defense, 2 weak defenses in Cincinnati today. Chuck, what were your feelings about this game? This is right up your alley. This is you right here. This is a verb right here.
this is terrible. This was bad. Like I don't know. I kind of let this game say that everyone who participated in this game, except for Colson Loveland and Caleb Williams, at times should feel really bad about what happened here. The onside kick. I kind of don't think it was you know what the onside kick looked like? It looked like an infomercial for if there was an infomercial for bad special teams play. You don't want your onside kick coverage to look like this, and it's just like a bunch of guys spilling stuff and running into each other, and all of a sudden the Bengals end up with the ball because I was just confused about how quickly it became a demolition derby, and then they had the ball and they scored a touchdown, and quite honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I turned the game off after the Bengals scored that next touchdown because I was trying to see what's going on with the other games. The next thing I know, my phone's blowing up. Like, what just happened? So I scrolled back and I rewound, and just the worst defensive play of the year. Shout out Colson Loveland for finishing that play. You're going to remember that one forever. But my God, Bengals, just tackle him. Just tackle him. If there were 2 of you guys on him, and it wasn't even that crazy of a spin move, man. It wasn't really that nuts. You just kind of tumble away, and then you get the reason why he was such a high draft pick, because you get the speed on the back end to kind of burn and get away. But tackle him still. It's not like that was an impossible play to make. Then maybe the odds are in your favor, but to give up a touchdown right there, good Lord. I mean, it just seems like every time the Bengals defense can't dig a lower hole, they find a way to just get worse. It's pretty impressive at this point. I mean, I don't really know how they're going to top it, because that's about as bad as it gets.
It is as bad as it gets. There's 27 explosive plays in this game combined.
That's not good.
13 for the Bengals. The Bears had 14, 8 runs, 6 passes. The Bears finished with .42 EPA per play, which is the third best for a Bears offense in the game since 2013. 7.6 yards per play. The Bears finished, and again, this is why I want to see Monangai out there. It's like, because I just think he's a little bit better than Swift as like being a real running back. The Bears finished with their highest rushing success rate in a game since at least 2013. I look back all the way to 2002 on True Media. It's their second best rushing success rate in a game. Only game better was Week 9, 2009 against the Cardinals, but they only had 10 design runs in that game. This week, they had 32 design runs. They finished with a 57.6% rushing success rate, nearly 60%. Their second best game since 2013 was Washington against Week 6. Their sixth best game was Week 3 against the Cowboys. Their ninth best game was Week 7 against the Saints. So since 2013, five of their best rushing success rate games have been this season of 204 games. So that run game is cooking now. But especially going against a Bengals defense, defense is optional. I was going to look up how many missed tackles they had, or both teams had. That was actually I just reminded myself. Bengals had 15 missed tackles. They 133 yards allowed after missed tackles. Bears had 7 missed tackles, which actually felt low considering how their defense played. But then
I've always wondered how those are targeted sometimes.
But then also you look how some of the plays were. It's like T. Higgins dunking on a guy, and so it's just like boom, boom. It's not like a missed tackle and then a break. I know. So I felt like more because it didn't feel like their defense was cooking when you give up 13 explosives, and of course everything would happen at the end. I will say, thought there's some really good stuff from Caleb today, between the numbers especially. So that run game was cooking, and he between the numbers 11, 16, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he's really getting more comfortable, and it's encouraging what's going on with Ben Johnson. Of course, this is kind of a mouthwash game for anyone playing this Bengals defense. Any more thoughts on this shenanigans fill game?
I think if you're the Bears, this is a good bounce back game for Chicago after what happened last week in Baltimore. And hey, maybe as we've seen with Baltimore, that they're about to do the thing that they've done in the last couple of years and turn it up after the bye week, and that defense maybe isn't so bad and they're getting healthy. So we'll see what happens there. But I think it's a good sign that they keep scoring on the defense they're supposed to score on, outside of what happens with the Baltimore defense. We'll see what happens. But you got 26 on the Saints, 47 on Cincinnati, 31 on Dallas. Scored on both the Vegas and Washington. So these are the steps you want to see an offense take, especially in their first year. I think some of the takes with their offense got so ridiculous. I stopped trying to look at them because it was just making me mad. But I think they're on a pretty good trajectory for where they want to be next year or the year after.
Agreed. Yeah, and I mean they're still live in the NFC right now. They got kind of a pretty tough schedule. They go Giants, Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns. So but I do think they're just going to be a tough out. Yeah, I know. I'm like Darnell Wright had some great moments today. This is why I've been so optimistic. I rewatched that Ravens game. Actually, you rewatch it, and it's like Caleb had a good game. He really did. And of course, he had that pick at the end. But there's, so much good stuff in that game. And you see it today. And again, like you said, going against bad defenses, that's what you want to see. It's like you actually look good. That's the thing. Make a bad defense look like a bad defense. That's like the goal. That's like the tiers that you're trying to set for yourself. So this is a good offense. This has been a top 10 offense since their bye week. I even think since that Cowboys game, so week 3, I think that was. This has been a top 10 offense in the NFL by all the metrics you look at. So I think they're just going to keep doing this. I've really liked it. Roman Duze didn't even get going today, and it was like, oh, there's Colson Loveland going now. DJ Moore got going again. Manon guys got so. Some good stuff happening with this team. Not on the defensive side. Maybe just got to get a little healthier. Oh, Austin Booker, 6 sack against Orlando Brown. He's cool from Kansas. Make sure to keep an eye on him. But he had a really nice strip sack. He's a good player. Low number 2, staying in the NFC North. Packers falling apart against the Panthers. What was this? Panthers win 16-13. Packers played with their food, it felt like, the entire game. Panthers rolled on them on the ground, though. Some injuries for the Packers. Tucker, the Warlord, Kraft. probably going to be out for the year. I think it's an ACL. So that's a little sad because he was kind of entering that tight end one conversation. It's actually a total game and math changer for the Packers. But Panthers win this game, Chuck. What'd you think about this one?
Hey, Panthers, you might want to give our pal Joe Gilbert a little promotion and pay raise there, pal, because this is
run game coordinator, assistant head coach, just every title possible. Yeah.
Look, if I'm get David Tepper. Yeah, get David Tepper on the phone and say I want a piece of that hedge fund, baby, because they are
ownership stake.
Yeah, I want an ownership stake. If you want to keep running the ball, I want an ownership stake. I might give it to them after what they did today. This run game has really come to life. Especially since Rico Dowdle took over. It's kind of interesting when you have a situation like that where, time for the backup to play, and he comes in, oh, wait, no, he's the best running back on this team right now. And I don't even think that's really a slight to Chuba Hubbard, because Hubbard's still a quality player in his own right, but Dowdle's been killing it to the point where you kind of just got to keep riding the hot hand. I just thought they did such a good job just kind of staying on schedule and with the run game and being able to pick up chunks at times. The passing game didn't really produce all that much. I think Bryce Young finished the game with 100 yards passing. 102 yards passing, which it's not really going to cut it. But the run game, man, when you can control a game like this and especially kind of break tackles and play physically play with physicality the way that Dowdle was, it kind of changes maybe your perception of what they can do in the NFC South. If they're 5-4 and you look at where Atlanta is after today, could they sneak into the wild card spot, maybe the 7th seed? I don't know, but I think their floor this season is a lot higher than I thought it would be. And I think after you kind of go in and just physically beat up that Packers defense, you gotta start taking the Panthers a little more seriously than I was before today, for sure. But then they still lost 49 last week, so I don't know what the scene is.
Well, that's the thing. There's been some teams they've gone against, even the Bills game, they were still moving the ball. It was just Andy Dalton it was an Andy Dalton thing, turned into a pumpkin. I don't know what the hell happened. And then and also just so it's my theory of the Panthers has been early down stuff is good. They can run the ball, and I think the defense is a little bit better. I don't know how good. I've been trying to figure that out. But then today it was pretty good day. It wasn't great. They got out success rated. The Packers outgained them by 100 yards. The Packers didn't have a 3 and out. They only allowed 1 sack. They had a better success rate in all 3 categories: overall, rushing, passing. Packers had 1 more explosive play. They had a way higher 4 yards or more gained rate, and they lose that turnover battle by 1. And then it just is that the Panthers have enough now that you can't just have a game like this where you're just kind of again playing. The Packers get to third down so much. And it's I just want to see a game where you guys only have 8 third down attempts as opposed to 14, 16, 14. It's I get it. You're good on third down, but just hit some plays earlier. Go churn to sticks a little bit earlier. You guys make it a little hard on yourselves, and they keep these teams in games, and they have some injuries and things just kind of fall apart on them. So Rob Domofsky, who covers the Packers, he had a tweet today. He said the Packers loss as a 13.5 point favorite is the largest upset in the NFL since the 2023 season, when the Titans lost plus 14.5 at Miami, tied the Packers' largest upset loss since the merger in 1970, according to ESPN research. Whew. So I think Packers, just for the lack of a better phrase, they fucked around too much, and they found out against a Panthers team that can kind of do enough, I think, especially with that run game. And Joe Gilbert,
I don't the Packers, they're weird. They're just too sloppy, I think. Just a little bit too inconsistent at times, where it's just why are you, Jordan Love, why are you throwing that ball, man? Why did you throw that?
What's your Jordan Love take again? Because he's a Kobe fan
right now. I did not say the Kobe fan part, but that was connected to my take, and I do agree with it.
Okay.
He's too much of a Kobe fan. You watch some of these throws. I'm dude, what are you doing? He got so lucky that Panthers.
Kobe.
Yes, Kobe, but the stakes are too high, Jordan. There's a difference between a 3-point shot, 1 of 1,000 you'll take over the course of a season, versus a throw to the end zone directly to a Panthers DB that you got lucky that he dropped it. Because I don't know how. That's one of those plays where the DB was thinking about how he was running back 105 yards.
Oh, should I do the Lambeau leap?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
he was
Because it
already
was
picturing
that
it.
clear. Yes, he
Oh
was
yeah,
at the 50-yard
there's nobody
line.
on the
He
side of
was
the field.
mentally at the
Yeah,
50-yard line. So, uh, I just need to chill stuff out like that out because
yeah,
because obviously he's a very good quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But then the people who don't think he's any good was like, well, see, he does stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, he
right.
does, and he should stop doing stuff like that. He really should.
It's that's the game last week against the Steelers. Like he had a couple kind of YOLO balls, and it's like I'm always in favor of this kind of play style because it's just what it can create if you have the players for it. But when your guys get hurt, and you're playing with Malik Heath, and others getting
Yeah,
those kind of like big touches and big routes, it's like then it kind of doesn't feel as good. Patrick Mahomes, when he gets into creation, doesn't feel as good when it was those guys. Now it feels a little bit better because the guys are better. Rashee Rice is back; it feels better, but it was just like the negative parts of the Packers. I mean, obviously they lost, reared their ugly heads, like kind of a little soft stopping the run a little bit. They've had some D tackle woes, injury wise. They're a little light in the pants on the edge, and you could see the Panthers kind of get after them a little bit on that. So just kind of you could really see their flaws exposed. But again, credit to the Panthers for exposing them. I mean, they do enough. They're hard out, that the Panthers team, and I'm trying to figure out what I feel about the Packers because I want to just see their health, and that'll kind of determine where they go from there. But who do the Packers have coming up? They have the Eagles Monday night next week. Eagles, Giants, and then Vikings. Okay, fun little stretch there. Then Lions, then Bears. Ooh, NFC North. Oh my. All right, low number 3. Continuing the trend of the lows. The low number 3 is lovers of good offense, and that was what happened in Houston today. Which, by the way, we predicted. I know
yeah.
CJ Stroud got hurt, concussion, took a hard hit on a slide, but Broncos win 18-15. I think the over-under was 39.5. And I think we were like, shouldn't be like 35.5 or 34.5. And this game was a total rock fight. It's an insult to be called even a rock fight. What happened in this game today, but what you think about it, Chuck? Because again, this game is right up your alley.
Oh man, it was slop. Honestly, it was it was one of those games like I really did try to keep it on the quad box, but it was one of those games that kept getting.
It was like you're on the Stairmaster.
Yeah, like I had to keep flipping it out for something else, something that was grabbing my eye just a little bit more. But man, that was just a fist fight by both of these defenses, and we got a Davis Mills sighting, and that was.
A Davis Mills sighting.
That was a Davis Mills sighting. I say about Davis Mills.
Arrested Development being, I don't know what I was expecting. Pigeon in the
back. Yeah. I say about Davis Mills, the best thing that happened for his career was C.J. Stroud getting drafted, and it's because of games like this. As long as you can to be a good hang in the film room, and hope CJ doesn't get hurt, because when he does, you go with the second half with a 17% success rate on dropbacks. That was no good. 53 yards on 17 dropbacks in the second half, but the defense played well enough where they got to stay in it. And then you get the Bo Nix scramble, like that big scramble that he had. He's the quarterback of destiny this season. Like they keep kind of churning out these tough games when it feels like over the course of the game, like, man, this is sloppy. Doesn't look good, doesn't feel good, and then right when you need it most, they're kind of squeezing it out. So it'll be interesting to see like how sustainable that is, like not even just for the playoffs, but moving forward towards next year, because we know that style of play can be a little finicky. But for now, man, it's their year, and that was another gutted out win where Bo Nix had to make the play at the end. That makes you kind of forget everything else that happened before it.
If they can run the ball, they can stay in a lot of games because their defense is really good. Broncos, I mean, I guess both teams, but I know the Texans can't run the ball. But Broncos finished today, true media, 34% success rate. Texans had 28% success rate, only 3 explosive plays. Broncos had 28% passing success rate, but their run game was good today. And I actually thought the design run to Bo Nix on the last drive was really good. That was like the Taysom Hill special. It was like the QB pin pull. Like Taysom Hill has made a living off that play. But there's 32 third downs in this game, and it felt like there's 32 third downs in this game. It was a very quick rewatch for me because there wasn't a lot of football plays to watch. So it was really easy to prep for this game, for this show. The Broncos had 2 turnovers, and again, you can kind of see the limitations of their offense sometimes when all the designery stuff, the third down stuff, the half boot stuff, or long sprint out, extend sprint out stuff, you can just kind of see good defenses take advantage of like, oh, here comes this shot play, like the pick, like the safety's flying over the top to get the pick because he knows it's going to be that kind of, I think it was like an out and up kind of double play that they like to do or double move they like to do. And sure enough, the Broncos' big touchdowns to Sutton and RJ Harvey were, again, shot plays when they entered that little gold zone, the little strike zone outside the red zone. Harvey versus Toa was just like, take that all day. Like that was the classic example of the NFL as a matchup league. It was like double moved, I think out of empty, RJ Harvey against Henry Toa, who's actually been pretty good this season, but not in coverage. And it was like, oh, that was Sean Payton, just couldn't wait. He was like, oh, like that was all week. They knew they had that one because that worked to perfection. Like Nick's didn't look anywhere else but to that throw. But yeah, it was pretty sloppy. Texans missed a field goal. Broncos had a field goal blocked by Denico Autry, of course, but kind of what I expected this game. I just hope CJ Stroud comes back healthy. The Broncos are going to be in a lot of games because they have this defense and offense that can do just enough.
Yep. Speaking of missing a
That's
field
it.
goal.
Thursday night.
Wow. Atlanta. Wow.
That's
terrible.
it.
Awful
And then they got the Raiders this week, Broncos. Thursday Night Football. So a little AFC West tilt on Thursday. All right. Extra credit. Let's get your team in here. Let's drag them in here. Kicking and screaming like my daughter right now downstairs. Drake London with a turkey, 3 touchdowns, but the Patriots win the game 24-23. What happened here, Chuck? Well, props to Drake London first off, because he had 3 highlight reels.
Drake London.
Yeah, he was freaking
not
awesome.
Even.
But yeah, what happened here?
Hey, that's just 3 highlight reel. Like he had a lot of crazy catches today.
A lot of them.
A lot of crazy catches today. And look, not the best Michael Penix day. I know like we're gonna forget, and you're gonna see some of these numbers and say like, oh, you know, positive EPA, played pretty well. No, man, he was really, really inaccurate today. And Kyle Pitts and Drake London bailed him out on a lot of bad balls today. So that was cool to see from that standpoint. Yeah, Pitts had a good game. Like he had a huge catch, like where he had to dive wide open and he had to dive for it. It seems to be the recurring theme of the Falcons passing game.
Recurring image of the Falcons.
yeah. But I don't know. This was another one of those games. Like, even though when they cut it, even like I never expected them to win this game at any point today. Even when they cut the game to 23-24, I didn't expect them to miss the extra point. But I just assumed Drake May was going to go down and ice it because I thought, you know, one, I'm cursed from this team and they hurt me a lot over the past decade. But yeah, it just seemed like they didn't quite ever have control of that game. I do think, like, all things considered, the defense played pretty well. I thought Jalen Walker had an incredible game today. You know, he did get, you know, just a bad situation where he's in coverage on DeMario Douglas 20 yards down the field. Game to game, you're gonna get got.
Patriots. Yeah, that was Patriots. Just what I said about that Sean Payton, RJ Harvey's game. Yeah, that was. You got. It is what it is.
Someone's gonna be the mark on every play, man. And that play was you. But it kind of reminded me of, like, he had the game that I thought of, like, when we talked about him as a draft prospect. Like, I don't know, just keep moving forward. He's gonna figure some things out. He had, you know, a strip sack. He had another deflection in the backfield. Like, he was kind of all over the place. So that was a great game from him. But overall, Falcons just not good enough. Penix wasn't good enough. Defense, you know, just I guess given what they were working with, I thought it was okay. But on the long haul, not quite good enough. And Drake May, again, pretty good quarterback. Pretty good.
And May had the 2 turnovers, and it's like the strip sack. That's the one thing with he doesn't have the biggest hands. So it's like you can get him with those. You know, he's going to take some sacks and stuff. But I don't know. The sack stuff is more like just it's not a lot of stuff I watch where I'm just like, oh, why'd you take that sack there? It's a lot of understandable ones. You know, some guys take some bad sacks, but his are more explainable. But and then the pick I have to rewatch because it looked like just a guy, like Henry wasn't looking where he was expecting him to look on like a bender, which happens again too. But it was just like, again, like you kind of said, it's like I felt like the Patriots kind of controlled things on offense throughout the game outside of those turnovers. Really just kind of were able to do it. But Jalen Walker had that little tip. I think it was on a 3rd down. It was actually a really good design by the Patriots, and that's a huge play.
Sniffed it out.
And that's why, and he got that hand up. And Will Campbell, like, isn't bad. And I thought that was just a really nice play. So I'm glad you kind of gave him a shout out. The Falcons only had 3 successful runs today on 14 design runs. Their run game has been so weird lately.
We're dying.
That's not
Yeah,
good because that's the hub of their entire team. Only one successful run on first down. That's and the Patriots run defense is pretty good, but not one successful run on first down. Yeah.
I don't care who they're playing. That's not good enough. Like based on what
It's
they
your
have.
team.
But
Yeah.
honestly, man, I think the old line is kind of crashing back down there. The Elijah Wilkinson thing kind of turned back into the Elijah Wilkinson that I expected they were going to get over the first month and a half of the season. Yeah. So it's been rough.
They're a weird team. I wish they have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. That's the one nice part.
That's all we got. That's all we got, man.
Yeah. All right. Patriots got the Bucks next week in Tampa. That's a fun game. Sure, we'll preview it. And then, like I said, with Falcons, Colts, and Berlin. But we are going to close it out today. Okay.
Can I say one more thing about the Falcons? I remember this summer. Like we first of all, we got crapped on this summer for saying, this looks a little bit finicky, inconsistent. Yeah. But it turns out we might have ended up being optimistic along with everyone else because we had this team as over 7.5 wins, I think. Barely over. I don't know if they get it. Because they play Indianapolis next week. I don't know how that one's going to go. They play Carolina. Bryce Young apparently is the Falcons' assassin since he's been drafted. That's where all his best games come.
You're right.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
So I don't know. Like, there's a world where they could be 3-7 in the next 2 weeks. Yeah. I don't think that would be all that shocking.
DVOA, so FTN has it at, they have the middle of the pack schedule remaining, 17th. They are 30th in variance ranking, meaning how inconsistent they are week to week, which is like, yep, that is a good stat because that matches the eye test. The most consistent team is the Rams, who kick a lot of ass. So that makes a lot of sense too, and also own the Falcons pick, which is number 11
right now.
Oof. That's not fun. That's not fun. All right, but what was fun was doing this show with you, Chuck. We're closing it out today. I'll be back on Tuesday with a very special guest for some mid-season awards because it's post week 9. That's going to be a lot of fun. Be on the lookout for that. I'm Nate Tice. You can find me at Nate_Tice. That is Charles McDonald. You can find him at 4Verts. Make sure to check out his stuff. The 4Verts column, our mock draft last week, all on Yahoo Sports. Make sure also please subscribe to us, follow us, rate us wherever you get your podcasts. 5 stars, pretty please. Leave some comments in there too as well. I'd love to see those. Also, watch us on YouTube like you are right now, the live show. Watch us on YouTube on the Yahoo Sports YouTube channel. Thanks to Stone, Austin, Madison behind the scenes for making us look and sound good. Thank you all for listening. See you all next time.